Hello, I'm Catherine Maguire. Welcome to the Soul Alchemist podcast. If you're at a point where from the outside your life looks good, and maybe in many ways it is, but inside there's an inner niggle which might be saying something like, why am I here? What's my purpose? Is this it? I feel I was meant for more. Then you're in the right place. The Soul Alchemist podcast is a weekly invitation to get below the noise of your mind so that you can hear the voice of your soul and receive the clarity and practical tools you need to live your most purposeful, fulfilling, and joyous life. Each week, I draw on the ancient wisdom of the alchemists, shamanism, psychology, and nature herself and guide you to remember who you truly are and step fully into your goals. If you're new here, you're very welcome. I'm Catherine Maguire, shamanic practitioner, author, and soul alchemist. I'm originally from Ireland, but for the past 10 years, I've been living in a little medieval village that's perched on top of a mountain in southern Italy. You are very welcome, whether it's your first time or you've been on this journey with me for quite some time. It is so lovely to have you here, and thank you for stepping into my world today. And it's good to be back. It's been a minute. It's been a minute. I was in Ireland. I went to Ireland to see my parents. My dad hasn't been well. Both my parents are in their 80s. And yeah, quite something to just be on that journey, as I know many of you are with aging parents and just seeing them kind of get smaller in themselves. My mum's gotten quite, yeah, kind of hunched over and kind of shrunk in on herself. And my dad's physically just not doing so great. So it's a big journey. And I also was teaching my Alchemize Your Life workshop and a real experience in Ireland of that full smorgasbord of the human existence, a very emotional and some way sad week with my parents, and then this exquisite, blissy workshop with these gorgeous women who came and trusted me to take them beyond what they thought was possible, out into the unknown, out into the great mystery, and really lay the foundation stones for a whole new chapter in their lives. So that was amazing, really amazing. The whole trip was amazing to hold all of that. So very grateful for it. And then I came back and I had my birthday. Myself and my hubby went away for a few days. And now I'm back, refreshed and ready to go. So, what normally happens for a podcast is that a couple of days beforehand, I have an idea of what I want to talk to you about. And I mull it over. And then the morning of the podcast, because I make the podcast of a morning, I go for a walk. I go out into nature, who is nature is my greatest teacher, and just be in nature and walk and kind of mull over the idea a bit more. And then I come back and I make myself a cup of ceremonial cacao and I sit down and I do my meditation and really just dial in the energy of the podcast. But this morning, when I was doing my meditation, it was kind of like a little memo from my soul going, that idea you have, that's not it this week. And the podcast today is going to be on love. And then it showed me something that happened on my way to Ireland. I was like, talk about that. So here we are. We're on the love episode this week. So bear with me because I know love is such a huge subject. Like we could have a whole podcast series on love because the human experience of love is so complicated. It's so complicated. We make it so complex. But I'm not getting into the complexities. I'm not getting into the woundings. I'm not getting into the hurts. I'm not getting into the beliefs. I'm not getting into all the places where we close down for love or open up for love or all that. That's not what I'm doing today. What I'm doing today is I'm giving you an opportunity and some really simple tools to feel and have the experience of love. And I think, especially at the moment, the world is a bit bonkers and we are bombarded with information to tell us how bonkers the world is. But in my personal lived experience, if I step away from my phone and if I step away at everything being broadcasted at me and step out into my village or sit with my husband or walk in nature, I feel so held. I feel so loved. And that's what I want to share with you today. So when I was traveling to Dublin, I live down in southern Italy. So I was getting the plane from Rome. So it's a bit of a trek. So it's a car from my house down to the coast to the train station. And then I had three trains to get me to Rome, from where I was taking a flight to Dublin. And then I was going to get a bus from Dublin up to where my parents live. So by the time I got to Rome airport, I was well over halfway through my days traveling. I was tired, but it was a beautiful morning in Rome. It was hot, it was sunny. And we got through the part, where they check your passport and boarding and you're waiting for the plane. And as we were waiting, we were outside, we were waiting to get the clearance to board the plane, and it was warm. And it was kind of like a mix of energies. Kind of some people kind of find it a bit hot to be standing there. Some people obviously have that impatience that they want to be get going. And there was a couple beside me, an older couple with their son who was obviously autistic, and he was having a hard time. He was stimming, he was trying to self-soothe. But the noise, like some of the airplane noises and some of just the airport noises were quite hard, and he was having a real hard time if there was a loud noise. And I'm here in the middle of all this. And I thought, okay, all this energy is starting to impact me. I could feel myself getting agitated. I thought, okay, what can I do? And I thought, okay, I'll go to love. So I chose to go to love because in the energy of love, everything, the frequency of everything changes. It recalibrates. So it's a bit like putting a pebble in the pond. All right. And that ripple effect moves out from you. And I went to love partly, quite honestly, just to soothe my own nervous system and also to be that ripple effect in the world, or in that my part of the airport that morning. All right. Without trying to force an outcome. I wasn't trying to calm other people down. I wasn't trying to, help the young man beside me who was having a hard time. I was just trying to send out love and just kind of let the fragrance of love, the frequency of love flow out and do whatever it is it wanted to do. Okay. So as I was standing there with my little suitcase in my hand, I closed my eyes and I started to breathe into my heart. And the easiest way it is for me to connect to love is my beautiful setter Star, who passed away last year. Star for me was the embodiment of love. She was joyful, she was playful, she loved so unconditionally. She just thinking of her puts a smile on my face. So I close my eyes and I'm thinking of Star, my beautiful setter, and I'm seeing her being a star, running around, doing the things that she did that gave me joy, sitting beside me, felt myself just, stroking her beautiful soft fur, all those things. And I was doing that for a few minutes. And I could feel a smile on my face and I could feel joy in my heart. And then I started to feel like kind of as if like kind of someone bumped against my shoulder, my elbow, gently, nothing, and kind of sense of movement around me. And then I opened my eyes to realize while I'd been doing that, everything had shifted. The queue had started to move. People were boarding the plane. And I was standing there still in the middle of these people boarding, being in my little love bubble. So, and I will fully take ownership of the fact that, being that love bubble definitely changed the energy that morning. 100%. I know that in my heart of hearts to be true. And that's what I want to offer you today, that it doesn't matter what's going on in the world and it doesn't matter what's going on in your life. We each have a choice. And the choice we make is to align to a different frequency. And love is the quickest and fastest way to do that. We do have to park our negative experiences or our backstories where we feel we have a bad relationship with love, or we haven't been loved, or loved has been unconditional. And like that was one of the contrasts in Ireland when I was home. Like I was with my family for a week and I loved them dearly and they love me. But so much of the dynamic is built on conditional love of us. I'm 55. So, like, over 55 years of dynamics and patterns and stories. But underneath all that, there is love. There is true love, but it's very conditional. There's an exchange. The extreme, or the other, side of the equation, is when I went into that workshop, when I was doing my Alchemize My Your Life workshop, most of those women I knew, some I didn't, but most of the women in the workshop I knew, but a lot of them I hadn't met in person. And the unconditional love in the room for everyone, between the women, for the women towards me, for me towards them, for women who hadn't even met each other. And this was their first time to meet each other, the sharing and the honesty, the difference in those two extremes was phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. So we have both those experiences available to us in each moment. We can go into the more limited, conditional experience of love, where we've been hurt, where we've got story, where we feel we weren't cared for or loved for enough. Or we can choose the more expansive, joyous experience of love, which is the true love. That's how love is. Love is unconditional. Love is joyous. Love puts a smile on your face. Love makes you glow. It makes your eyes sparkle. All right. So, what I would love you to think about today is, what is your touchstone? What is your love touchstone? So, for me, that's my setter star. As soon as I just close my eyes and, really connect with the energy of star and see her in my mind's eye doing her thing, I'm in that love space. I can feel that connection. It was pure, it was unconditional. So, what's your love touchstone? Maybe it's a person, maybe it's one of your children, maybe it's an animal you love, maybe it's a sunset or a sunrise or a moment in nature, but something exquisite, a moment with a lover, something beautiful, blissy moment that is or was untainted by the stories that we have about love. So, what's your love touchstone? And I want you to take a moment now to think about that. What's your love touchstone? Name it and claim it. This is my love touchstone. And you'll know what's your love touchstone because it lights you up. It makes you feel lighter instantly. Maybe your shoulders soften, that smile comes in your face. Maybe there's a warm glow. Maybe there's a smell associated with it. Like when I go into that love space, the smell that always comes to me is the smell of beautiful, like white jasmine. Fresh, it's light, it's expansive. It's this, the smell of summer for me. Love for me feels golden. And there's no harsh noise. It's soft. So, what's your love touchstone? And I want you today to write that down somewhere. Stick it on a post it. Stick it on a post it somewhere you'll see it, or put it somewhere where you'll see it. Put it as the screensaver as your phone. Make a note and go, this is my love touchstone. So you don't forget it, so you remember it. And then I want you to try it out with me today. So wherever you are, keep your eyes open if you're in the car, you're traveling or whatever. If you're home by yourself, you can close your eyes, but you don't need to close your eyes. But just call on that love touchstone, call on that energy and really breathe into it. Allow that feeling to expand. And breathe it down into your body, down into your pelvis, your belly, your knees, your feet. Breathe it up into your shoulders and your head. And feel that love energy just move out, radiate out past you into the world. And you're not forcing it. You're not forcing it. You are the ripple in the pond. Just allow that energy to ripple out from you. And here's the fun part. When you start to radiate the frequency of love, when you become the resonance for love, when that starts to go out into the world, love starts to come back to you. It's not a one-way street. We give it freely, and then love finds us and is attracted back to us. So feel that exchange, whereas you're moving through the energy of love, you can feel it going out and coming in, going out and coming in. And be open to receive it. Sometimes we're great givers and not as good at receiving. So see if you can just allow yourself, connect with your love touchstone, allow that sense of love to really permeate your body. Notice what happens in your body when you connect to love. When you connect to love, it will be different than what I do, but I'm guessing there will be some similar themes: expansive, lightness, smile, joy, maybe a fizzy sensation, a tingly sensation. You feel open, your heart feels open. Allow that to radiate out through you and beyond you. And then feel the love of the universe, the love of nature, the love of this gorgeous cosmos in which we live radiate back into you. And that's what I want to leave you with today, the awareness that you are love in your core, regardless of your life experience, regardless of what had happened to you, regardless of the stories in your mind. At your core, you are love. And regardless of what goes on in the world, we live in a loving universe. Because every person you meet has that love within inside them too. And yes, I know some people act out from their woundings. God knows we all do. But at our core, we all are love. And the core pulse, the foundational pulse of the universe in which we live is loving. So allow yourself to feel into that. And my final invitation to you this week is to go out into the world and conduct some love experiments, not from a place of forcing, not from a place of control, but maybe you're walking through the park and you're imagining yourself as this being of love, radiating love as you walk through. Maybe you're sitting in a coffee shop of a morning and you allow yourself to touch into your love touchstone and allow that love to radiate out into the coffee shop. And be curious, what do you notice? What changes? How are things different? Not forcing, as I say, not controlling, but just curious about what happens when love ripples out into the world around you. Maybe you're at your desk in your office and you're having a hard day. Take a moment, pause, reach for your love touchstone, radiate out love and see where that goes. Maybe you're sitting in traffic, in a traffic jam. Take a breath, take a few breaths, pull your energy in and connect to your love's touchstone and see what happens there. Maybe the traffic jam doesn't go away, but maybe you feel better in it. You can find joy in it. Maybe the traffic starts to move. Who knows? Conduct your love experiments and let me know how it goes. Let me know how it goes. And you can do the same for a person. If there's someone you know that's struggling, having a hard time, like my dad, I sit in love and I let that love ripple out towards my dad. I'm not trying to force it. I'm not trying to change his journey. I'm not trying to, you know, change the outcome in a way that suits me, but I'm allowing my dad to be wrapped in that energy of love. So conduct your love experiments. Let me know how it goes. I'm really excited to find out what you discover. And I'll be back next week for another Soul Alchemy podcast. In the meantime, have an absolutely gorgeous week from my heart to yours. Lots of love. Aho.